Hi, this is Mike. I did something today, or this evening, it's Friday, December 1st, that I should have done a long time ago, as soon as I found out about this club. Living here in Metro Detroit, learned about the Detroit Three Railers quite a few years ago, and have never, you know, gone to any of their open houses or anything. Have seen them at other events. And the video I posted back in June up in Owasso at the Great Lakes, or excuse me, the Steam Railroading Institute, the military appreciation weekend. They had their temporary display, their Ford loops on a movable layout up there set up, and that was the first time I actually saw their layout in action, other than watching all the videos that people post. C.S. Stoya and J.D. Stucks and all the other famous Norm's trains. All the other famous folks that are in this Metro Detroit area have posted videos of the Detroit Three Railers, and this is the first time that I actually went to their open house. It was an honor to meet some of the people that I've admired their YouTube channels for years. Meeting Charlie, who's worked with the Northern Michigan Railroad Club on a lot of the custom runs that I have in my fleet. I actually showed him all the pictures of all my stuff from my Facebook account of all the rolling stock that I bought, and he told me the stories behind a lot of the rolling stock. There's another one, a new custom run coming out of the Sibling Brewery reefer car that matches the pup trailers that he worked on with, and he said it was a battle to get the pheasant colors correct. And he said he's a stickler for the details, and I told him I appreciate it, because the Sibling pup trailer flat car that I have with the two pup trailers on it is my second favorite. And I told him that, it was my second favorite car in all of my fleet. The first one being the Frankenmuth Brewery, that was a custom run out of Stockyard Express. That, with the little Dachshund on the side and just the colors and the detail of that, that's my absolute favorite rolling stock. And I told him his Sibling Brewery pup trailers is number 2 on my list. There's several, number 3 and 4 and 5 are also things that Charlie has worked on that are still on pre-order. So hopefully those will be my fleet soon. I did get an invoice today from Mr. Muffins. The grain cars from Lionel are shipping. I have 2 of them. Mr. Muffin did a custom run. I believe it was Milwaukee Road. I have to go back and look at my invoice. And the other one was a Sioux Line. Obviously, everything on my layout, I love Sioux Line. In fact, I got the shirt on again tonight. So those will be arriving. And as far as other rolling stock that I think I posted in some of my shorts and on my community, is the first red lettering and red doors with the Sioux Line. So that's a double door boxcar that I recently received. Saw that through the MTH forum on Facebook. And then while I was up north, I'm a Youper, have to go back home every November for the annual migration back to deer camp. I saw someone was posting an EMD caboose, and I missed out on it. I didn't see it until it was actually sold. I drive back down here for my son's 16th birthday on November 19th, and another one popped up. So I messaged him right away. I said, I need to have a matching caboose with my EMD locomotive. And like I posted in the shorts a few days ago, the colors are definitely not a match. But the way I look at it, you've got the engine at one side and the caboose on the other. So no one's ever going to see them together to notice the colors don't match. So I'm glad to have that in my set. It does illuminate. It looks really cool. But with those 4 red marker lights, I have got to figure out how to get those to light up red. That may be some kind of a little side project here with Evan Designs LEDs and figuring out how to get that wired in correctly. I need those red lamps to light up. And the other thing on my shorts, excuse my voice, everyone in the house is sick, and being up at hunting camp with a wood stove, my throat gets dried out, and I talk like this for about 2 or 3 weeks, so excuse the voice for this evening. Saw these IXO semis pop up every once in a while on eBay and trains.com, and saw a couple pop up just a couple weeks ago, and I figured, you know what, they were a good price, about 50, 60 bucks a piece. So I said I might as well, because I want to have semis on my layout. I have truck drivers in my family. Back home I've got lots of friends and family that work in the logging industry, so you have logging trucks. So my first truck that I posted was a cab over Freightliner. The detail on this is just spectacular. I mean, the dual pipes and the detailed mud flaps and the hitch moves and the chrome is just, everything just gorgeous. And then one of my old neighbors at my old house, his last name was Mac, and he always put the Mac bulldozer, or Bulldog, excuse me, on any vehicle he drove. He drilled a hole in the hood the day he got it, brand new, and put the Mack Bulldog on. So he always had that Mack hood ornament. So I had to get this Mack truck to kind of represent my old neighbor and how great of a neighbor he was, and how cool it was to see a Pontiac Aztek driving through the neighborhood with a Mack Bulldog on the hood. So, and then a friend of mine reminded me that, hey, if you're a Pontiac GMC guy, then you really need to have an Astro and a GMC General in your fleet. So I said, you know what? I really do. So I went back to eBay, and sure enough, there's a 1970 GMC Astro. Not crazy about the yellow colors. I'm not really a yellow guy, but now that the GMC General that I also found, both of these came from out west. I think one was in Nevada and one was in Utah. But the black General and the yellow Astro, the black and yellow, you go back to Michigan Tech colors. So, hey, this is a matching set as far as I'm concerned. They're both GMCs. I love GMC. And when I posted this on my Facebook page and on the shorts, I had some of my coworkers that I've worked at General Motors now for almost 28 years. Some folks that are a little bit older than me said these were the first projects they worked on at GM. So when they saw these, it brought fond memories back to them, and this will help me remember my coworkers with these trucks on my layouts as well. So up next, you'll see just 4 quick videos I took. There's lots of folks taking videos tonight. You'll probably see some of the similar clips and some of the different trains that were run tonight. There's one gentleman that came down from the Sault Ste. Marie. He said there was this annual Christmas shopping trip with him and his friends. He said they all drove to Greektown. He dropped them off there to go to the casino, and he came back because he knew the open house with the Detroit Three-Railers was tonight. So it was good talking to him briefly. Like I said, I met Charlie for CS Stoya. I finally met Jason Stuckert. I emailed him years ago because he works in the steel industry, and 10 years ago, I worked in the steel purchasing department at General Motors. And at the time, ArcelorMittal was one of my biggest clients. Bought steel from them. And when Jason first, after he graduated from Ohio State, he was working for ArcelorMittal. So I emailed him, and we started talking back and forth about, the love of O-Gauge and love of the hobby, and all the people that we knew in common between GM and ArcelorMittal. And I think GM right now is one of his biggest customers. So he's working with the team that I left 10 years ago. So it was great to finally meet him. Norm Charbonneau, a legend. Someone pointed him out to me, and I it's like, you're meeting meeting someone you admire so much is meeting a hero. Looking at his layout and the detail that he puts into it. And I walked up and said, Mr. Charbonneau, I want to tell you that you're an artist. He goes, no, I'm not. He's very humble, and even some of the members there say that he really is he understates the work that he does. And in fact, one of the videos here, there's there are 2 different people brought Lake Superior and Ishpeming locomotives. Both have the same road number, and one is the glossy as bought, as purchased, as manufactured, and the other one was recently weathered by Norm. So you'll see the before and after, and the after is gorgeous. It's just to see the detail and the work he puts into them and how realistic they look. I was joking with him for a while that most of my engines are Sioux Line. And as a kid, every time a Sioux Line engine would go by, yes, it was white with the red swoosh down the side and the black SOO, but with all the soot in the top of those engines were all black. So I'm really tempted, if I ever try to weather my engines, the first thing I'm going to do is paint the tops all black to match the engines that used to go by when I was a kid. So it was a great event to finally meet a lot of the members that I've watched their videos and admired their work over the years. I'm just getting started. In fact, when I was there tonight, I met a guy who I'm his 63rd subscriber on his YouTube channel, and he was my 296, I think I'm up to, when I was at the meeting tonight. So he was my 296 subscriber. So I'm 4 away from the 300 mark, maybe by the end of the year. I do have some more things coming from Mr. Muffin next week, so those will be a couple shorts. And whenever I post a short, I always get 1 subscriber or 2. So with all these semis recently and stuff, and the other short videos of the recent rolling stock, maybe we'll hit 300 by Christmas. And if we do, then I'm really going to have to get a fire lit under my backside to clean out my garage. Maybe reroute one of my heating ducts in the house so it pumps some heat into the garage so I'm not freezing out there all winter. Maybe put some insulation in the one window that's there. That's a single pane 1970 crank with all the louvers in it. That does not hold heat in the garage at all. So I want to get that done here soon so I can start working on my my layout. I think I've shown videos of what my layout is when I did my recent test fit of the center portion of my layout with the double crossover, double reverse. So 2 loops crossing over on the one side with both reversing on the inner loop, and then 1 loop on the top. And talking to the team tonight about what Lionel should be coming out with in their first Volume 1 catalog of 2024, being it's the anniversary of the Polar Express movie. There's big hype and rumors that they're going to be bringing back a very, very high quality Pierre Marquette 1225. The one I have is scale. It's not the full size. It's not fully optioned, and it has a really hard time pulling my 7 Pierre Marquette passenger cars. So if they do come out with that, I'll definitely have to pre-order that one to go along with my Pacific Pierre Marquette fantasy scheme that was in the recent Lionel catalog this year. And then I'll probably sell my older Pierre Marquette 1225 if I can get my hands on the new one, if they do offer a fully, Vision line or whatever they're going to come out with in the Pierre Marquette 1225. Mine will say Pierre Marquette. It will not say Polar Express. I don't want to pay the extra money. Plus, the real engine says Pierre Marquette. That's the one that my family and I rode behind in a double-decker Amtrak car several years ago on the excursion out of Owasso up to Ashley, Michigan and back. And I've seen other people posting videos. 1225 is back on new wheels, new running gear. And actually, a friend of mine, he was my son's Cub Scout master. He hunts just off of the rails there. And after he learned that we did that excursion as a family, when he's sitting in his hunting blind every November, every time the 1225 rolls by, he takes a picture and he texts it to me. He goes, "There she goes again." So it's great to see that engine back up and running again. He said it wasn't the same last year, not seeing that 1225 roll by and instead the excursion were pulled by normal diesel engines. He said it's not the same experience. You don't see the pillow of steam. You don't see the black coal smoke. He said it's not the same. So he was really happy to see the 1225 back on the rails again this year. So like I said, I've got a couple 4 short videos here that I took tonight. The one is before and after of the Lake Superior Nishpeming, before weathering and after, and then just a couple quick videos of the 4-track loop layout. And the one Sioux Line engine was brought down from Sault Ste. Marie, the guy that I just previously mentioned. So he brought that down. He wanted to run a train there. So I was glad that Sioux Line was represented. I didn't bring any of my engines. I just wanted to go to meet these guys that I've heard so much about. And I don't have a layout yet. Obviously, the basement flooding, you all know the story. But after meeting these guys, and knowing how knowing how cool they really are. I mean, and there's other folks from the UP there. There's a lot of folks there that focus in on northern railroads, Pierre Marquette, Lake Superior, Nishpeming, Escanaba, and Lake Superior, the Sioux Lines, the Mesabi, and all the other northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin. There's so many guys in that club really focused that's their favorite railroad. So I'm gonna fit right in there. I'm definitely gonna try and become a member of that club, because just the experience I had there tonight, I was only there for about 3 hours of the 4 hours of the full open house, but it was a blast. If you are in Metro Detroit and you like scale railroad and you have a collection, or you don't even have to have an operating layout, I learned tonight, which I told them, I gave them my story about the basement flooding and being kicked out to the garage. They said, doesn't matter, as long as you come here. They have fun, they have pizza, they have snacks, they talk trains. And for me, that's an escape from the real world. That brings me back to my childhood of watching the Sioux Line go by the house. And it was just, for as rough as this year has been, I really needed tonight. Tonight was a lot of fun. And if any of you that are part of the Detroit Three Railers watch this video, you guys have a great club. And I'd be honored to become part of it, just from what I saw and the folks I talked to tonight. So without further ado, I'll show you the 4 videos I took. Like I said, they're real quick, but it's a great club, great event. And now I really want to get my layout built in my garage. So I think I needed that little boost tonight. I'm glad I went. Thanks for the Detroit Three Railers for posting the open house, and it was a fun time. Maybe I'll have to hit them up a couple times before the end of the year and definitely start going to more meetings next year. Well, see you next time. and after I show a couple shorts next week of my 2 grain cars coming from Mr. Muffin. Thanks.
I guess a lot of it would be, what do you